My unwavering child, let me tell you something that never changes. I'm the same. Yesterday I was the same. Right now I am the same. In each subsequent chapter I shall remain the same. Not nearly the same. Not the same overall, with little modifications dependent on your actions, your situation, or the changing conditions of your emotional existence. The same in every way, without exception. The wind does not cause the light that I am to flicker. As we get farther apart, the warmth I feel for you doesn't get any colder. I didn't make a conditional promise to you with unseen terms that you haven't yet activated before you took your first breath. It was unquestionable. It is still unchangeable. And in a world where everything is subject to change, relationships change, the seasons change, certainty gives way to fresh uncertainty, and the people you most depend on occasionally turn out to be less reliable than you wanted them to be. In the midst of it all, I remain precisely who I was and hang on to every word that has ever been spoken over your life, just as I did at the beginning. My identity is not a factor in your life's equation. It is the one constant that all other things revolve around. When all other surfaces are moving beneath your feet, this is the one thing you can cling to. My commitments never expire. I want you to hear that as a real truth, pressing against the particular despair that has been resting on your chest, rather than as a word you are already familiar with from a long period of faith. The one you haven't mentioned to anyone. The one who murmurs to you during the silent times, that perhaps there has been too much waiting. Perhaps the pledge was meant for someone else. Perhaps the window you were keeping an eye on has finally closed. Furthermore, the thing you have faith in me for is just not materializing. That whisper is familiar to me. When it comes to you, I know exactly. The certain time of day and the specific silence that allows it to pass through your barriers. The specific mix of exhaustion and disappointment that causes it to seem louder on certain days than others. And now, as I stand in that same quiet, I am telling you a truth that is more powerful than any doubt the darkness has ever given you. I meant what I promised you when I spoke to you. I cling. Fear creates expiration dates. I set the dates of arrival. The only person who has a complete understanding of what is being prepared and what you're being prepared for is the one who sets those arrival dates, and I am that one. Regarding the chronology, fear has been deceiving you. Listen to me clearly on this. Fear is not a trustworthy storyteller. Fear uses the wait's length as proof that it will last forever. Fear uses a season's quiet as evidence that it is your last address. Fear uses the discrepancy between your current situation and the promise's intended outcome as proof that the promise was flawed or that you were wrong to accept it. All those presentations are untrue. Length is not a sign of permanence. Abandonment is not demonstrated by silence. Failure is not indicated by a discrepancy between the promise and its apparent fulfillment. It is merely the area where the preparation is taking place. Furthermore, no one who has ever been in that area and saw the delivery of what was promised has claimed that the waiting was proof that the word would not arrive. All of them have reported the opposite. From that distant shore, they could see that word was always coming their way, explaining that what appeared to be a delay was actually progress, and that the entire duration of preparation was necessary to arrive at the totality of what was prepared. You are currently in the midst of that kind of preparation, in the midst of a becoming, not at the conclusion of anything. Consider what it means to be your shepherd. Not a shepherd in the abstract sense of a far-off person who is generally in charge of a flock. Your shepherd, the person who is familiar with your particular gait and how you slow down on unknown territory. When the light goes out and your instincts take control instead of your intention, you have a tendency to veer to the left. A shepherd who is aware of all that is not standing far away with a hazy idea of where the flock is headed. The shepherd is near. That shepherd is focusing on the individual as well as the group. Furthermore, the pastures I am guiding you toward aren't picked at random or automatically given to everyone in need. They're green. They are the exact shade of green that is most necessary for your particular level of fatigue. The remainder that precisely matches the shape of your tiredness, the silence that corresponds to your inner noise's particular frequency. I'm not making you a generic offer. I am providing you with provision that is tailored to your unique needs and needs at this particular point in your journey. I want you to know exactly what I mean when I say green pastures. The provision I am guiding you toward is not an ethereal spiritual state that transcends the pragmatic aspects of your everyday existence. In a physical sense, it is true rest. The kind when your breathing slows, your muscles relax, and the machinery of continual alertness eventually stops because you've reached a safe enough place to cease keeping an eye on the door. It is a real budget for the expenses that have been piling up in the back of your mind, for the need that keeps coming up before you've had chance to restore what the previous need used up. It is genuine harmony in your relationships, in the particular dynamics that have been necessitating cautious maneuvering, in the areas where miscommunication has been building up in layers that have made the initial warmth more difficult to access. These aren't a metaphor for anything other than the verdant pastures, the real repair of the real particular aspects of your real particular life. And I'm guiding you there. From your current position, you cannot see the complete path, but the path is in my hands, and pastures are where the path stops. You have been carrying things that weren't meant to be borne by you alone. There is a great burden on your shoulders at this moment. I'm not downplaying it. I'm not providing you with the superficial consolation of someone who, when faced with a large load, says, "It will be fine," without actually approaching you to assist in lifting it. I am providing you with something that is active, present, and moving on your behalf even before you have found the right words to request it. My arm beneath your weight. My strength is adding to what's left of yours. The eagle does not beat its wings more forcefully when the wind slows down for a reason, trusting the stream below, spreading wide. That is the wisdom of the eagle, and I am giving you this wisdom at this very moment. I'm setting you up for precisely that kind of rise in the areas of your life when your strength is at its lowest, carrying the current beneath your weary wings, not asking for more of them. The kind of rejuvenation I'm talking about isn't the same as someone who puts in more effort and grinds their teeth. It belongs to the person who has come to terms with the fact that the wind itself was meant to transport them. The feeling of having your strength restored like an eagle's is remarkable. Take a moment to think of the eagle as a live being with a particular relationship to its surroundings rather than as a symbol. The eagle does not constantly put forth exceptional effort to reach its soaring altitude. The air is read by it. It senses the warmth rising from the ground below in unseen columns. The lifting power carrying thermals are imperceptible to the untrained eye. And it uses a precision that comes from a nature that was created for precisely this type of flying to position itself amid those currents. The bird isn't docile. It is precisely adjusted to take advantage of what the air has to give, and the outcome is an altitude that could not be attained by frenzied wing pounding. The kind of effortless ascent that appears from the ground as though the bird has managed to evade the laws of gravity that control everything else. I'm doing it to you. I'm not asking you to put forth more effort against circumstances that were never designed to be conquered by one person. I'm calling you to align with what I'm already doing, the force in the air around you, and the upward momentum that's already flowing. It is not your responsibility to create the lift. It is your responsibility to stretch your wings and follow your dreams. I am not surprised by the valley. Let me state that explicitly, because a lot of despair stems from the belief that your current problem is an unexpected development. An unforeseen difficulty that calls for immediate care instead of steady walking. Listen to this. The dark and challenging valley you are currently traversing. The one that seems like it ought to be over by now. The one where the darkness has persisted long enough that you are beginning to question whether the light at the other end is genuine or just a lie you made yourself to get through the initial challenging moments. My absence is not indicated by that valley. I am familiar with the location by name. I've already gone through it. I've already seen the shape of every shadow in it. Each sound in it has a frequency that has already been mapped. The only eyes capable of seeing in that level of darkness have evaluated every threat in it. When I say I'm with you in the valley, I don't mean that I'm observing from above, keeping tabs on your development and prepared to step in if things start to get really serious. I mean, I'm in it with you. The staff that consoles you and the rod are not symbols. They are the real-life equivalent of a shepherd who stays with the sheep in hazardous situations. The shepherd draws closest at that same moment. The rod I'm holding isn't ornamental. Because your focus is appropriately on the path in front of your feet rather than the perimeter, you are unable to witness the active management of the threats surrounding you. Certain things have come into your life and were stopped before they could reach you. Circumstances that may have made your problems worse, but were diverted by a hand you did not see moving. Issues that might have come to your door but didn't, because something got in the way of the threat and the target.